right now, your genius just figure this out. What, Mary? Amazing. Amazing.
Think so. We're gonna check and make sure, but also we're just gonna chat while we're checking, right?
We're just gonna chat. And then are people going to, oh yeah, my YouTube just said watch live now. Awesome.
Okay, so that
Mhm.
one's working. That's good.
Awesome. And then
Um,
you still have to let Eventbrite peeps in.
yes.
Okay.
So they'll be trying to get into the Zoom hopefully. We did kind of send it last minute.
Yeah.
And then it should be on Instagram and on my personal Facebook, which will be
Oh my God. What's up? Not that we can see anybody's comments or anything, like I can't
nothing.
see anything, but I'd like to think that people are like, oh my gosh, Lacey and Mary, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. That's what I like to imagine is just popping off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
WTF astrology. What's up with you? Oh my gosh. Such a fascinating subject. Boom.
Yeah, the most fascinating.
We are so professional, y'all.
Oh my
So
god.
professional.
Okay, so I think we're gonna hang out for a second and see
Mhm.
if some of our other students pop up because we're also streaming this live. So hopefully it's fun for everybody. We do a monthly free crash course. It's called
Yeah,
What the Fuck is Astrology?
right. That's what you're watching right now. What even is it?
Am I breaking up? Is my
I know, yeah, you're like paused, but am I breaking up? Can you see me moving?
yeah, I can. I think something's going on with my internet, or maybe the streaming is just pulling a lot of like um
It's just
bandwidth, but
a big old load.
it's worth it. It's worth it. We'll figure this out.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
I was just thinking about Saturn retrograde and what it's been doing to me lately. It makes
That.
me vocal about my judginess. That's what it's done. Like I've totally noticed that I push my opinions more when Saturn's retrograde because then it's actually in align with my natal retrograded Saturn. So I've like definitely noticed like, oh, it comes out more harsh. That's what it feels like. My opinions.
But is your Saturn natally retrograde?
Yeah, it is. Saturn,
So
Mars.
is it like the opposite effect where like normally it would be inward judging, outward,
Yeah, no.
outward?
Mine just goes, oh, good. Everyone's going my direction now. Let's opinionate. You know what I mean? And I also noticed
Uh,
that Saturn being in the sign of Pisces retrograde has definitely made me more opinionated about sort of spiritual things or like, you know, uh, for example, if I see somebody blatantly lying, then I can't shut up about that. I'll be like, oh, what? It makes me more upset.
okay, that's fair.
Yes. Hello and welcome. Keep in mind that this is live streamed on all of our socials. So as the description in Eventbrite mentioned, so if you don't want to be on us for everyone to see, you can darken your screen. Hiya. Lovely to see you. Oh yeah,
I
I'll
think
write it in
I'm
the
going
little
to
Eventbrite thing too.
stop share and yeah. I'm also going to record this. I
Yeah.
think it's being recorded everywhere, but like, why not?
From our social. Okay. Welcome again.
Dying. Yeah, so we're going to get started here in a second. We are kind of waiting a sec since we just sent that link out.
Yeah, so if you're here via Eventbrite and you actually have our attention, then you can like ask questions or,
Yeah.
you get the personal live. Everybody else just
Your
has
friends on our socials we're not gonna be able to see your questions.
but yeah, put it in the chat if you have any questions. We were talking about the Saturn and Neptune retrograding, and how its effect for most people who have a Saturn that is direct natally, meaning it's not retrograde when you were born. If you have a Saturn that is naturally forward moving, then a Saturn retrograde can make you feel more like inward. I'm processing things more inwardly. Progress is kind of happening inside of me, inside of my heart, my mind, sort of more inner world. But I am wondering if other people who were born with Saturn naturally retrograde, like mine, in their chart, it makes me wonder if they also are a little more louder with the opinions, right? Like things that I've always thought inside that I've never said, I'm now saying, like it's interesting.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think we should get started, but I also think you should do the majority of the talking because I can tell my video is like super choppy.
Right. I'm in. Let's do it. So Mary and I are Team Aquarius. Hello, you lucky people. We're Team Aquarius. I'm a 2-degree Aquarius sun, and Mary, the glorious creature before you, is a Aquarius moon 2 degrees. So we are exactly conjunct. There's our stuff there. Mary's a Sag sun. She's playful. She's philosophical. She loves learning and teaching. She's a Sag sun, right? A Sag sun, Mary. I was trying to think of like a cool way to say that, but a Scorpio rising, she'll never admit anything on the spot.
Unless I want you to know.
Unless I want you to know. Yeah, exactly. It also makes her very clever. Hello, Scorpios. You investigative people. Very clever. Yes. I'm an Aquarius.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. What did you say? Say that again, Mary.
You investigative motherfuckers.
Yes, exactly. And then I'm an Aquarius sun. That means I have massive ideals and I totally believe that I could fix the world, whatever. Aries moon and rising, you read that right. It makes me very impulsive. And I love a good fight. Not like a mean fight, but like just admit that I'm right fight, whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so if you want to put in the chat box if you know your big three, or if you want to put it in your comments, your big three, put them up there so that we can judge you. Just kidding. All right, today's rundown. We're gonna talk about, all I know is that I'm a Scorpio. Oh girl, you're in the right place. We love them. All right, today's rundown, signs by element. And then we're going to do the overview of the planets. So we're going to tell you what everybody means. We're going to talk about the houses. That is can be kind of long and verbose. I'll try to make it more interesting. And then we'll look at some charts. So hey, let's get cracking. Signs by element. Mary, give it to me. Oh my gosh.
I added this little.
You did. I love that you
in.
did it. Describe it to us, Mary. Go.
Oh, I wish my internet was so bad. Okay. Hopefully you can at least hear me.
This is our biz baby. That's cool.
It is. I'm glad that you noticed that. Okay, so we're gonna break down things by signs, houses, planets, right? There's also aspects, which is all this goodness in here, but I also wrote that that's like another class.
Yes.
So if you are looking at your chart and you want to know what we're talking about as we're talking about it, right? the signs are these on the outside here. The houses are these little pie slices. And then the planets are the symbols. So just so you know which piece of the puzzle we're talking about, right? Which piece of the chart is up next. So yeah, we're going to start with signs. So this is where you might already know that your sun sign is a Scorpio, right?
Yeah.
Or right. And so then you would have a sun in that pie slice. That symbol would be in the sign of Scorpio. So I'm hoping that this helps visually break down a chart into what we're about to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And without further ado, signs by element.
Signs by element. It's kind of nice by element because then it kind of boxes things in a little bit and tidies things up. And then we're only talking about 4 elements, right? With 3 signs in each. And so the first one is the fire signs. Fire, my goodness, is it hot in here? Is it just the fire signs?
Or is it just Lacey and her Aries?
It's just Lacey's double Aries, damn. So Aries, yeah, this is Mars ruled, the warrior, the ram, the one who thinks it's fun to headbutt people. What? Don't. Yeah, exactly. Testing the metal, just testing that metal, that's all. But yeah, it's impulsive. It likes to go first, right? No one else will go first. I'll go first, right? It also gets very competitive, whatever. Competitive. I just want to win. Just tell me I'm winning and we'll all be happy. Aries. Leo is so Aries is a card. Well, yeah, Aries is cardinal. It initiates, right? Think of a match, right? Now you have fire. Aries initiates. And then once you have that fire, and then you make a bonfire, right? And it's a sustaining bonfire and it's burning up fuel, right? That's the sun, Leo. Leo, the sun, the brave lion. It is a fixed sign. It's the sign of the leader. It's the sign of the ruler. It's the sign of my vices are my vices. Deal with it. It's the sign also of, because it's so good at being a leader, it likes a stage, right? When you think of a leader, it's the person out front. It's the person who's talking. It's the person who's giving direction. Leos are natural leaders. Now, when you have 2 lions who are the kings of their pride coming together and they don't agree, then you have to make peace treaties. That's what I like to say, right? Leo's like peace treaties, but it's sustainable. It's warm-hearted. It rules the heart. Yeah, it wants to maintain the fire. Leo. Any other thoughts, Mary? It's childlike. It's like kid in a candy store, like kid on Christmas Day gets like, oh, right? Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Thinking about it that way, right? Just the unfiltered childlike enthusiasm and joy.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, same. I love that. Who doesn't want a leader who's, oh, right, a little bit fun,
it's a
right?
Fun factor, yeah.
It's a fun factor. It's a yes, give me the stage factor. If you've got a Leo moon, you probably like to put makeup on your eyes. Fun little facts about Leo. Sagittarius. Mary's my Sagittarius sun.
That's me.
Yes. So Sagittarius is mutable. Sagittarius goes, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing, guys? Right?
It's
Sagittarius.
slow,
yeah. Sagittarius is optimistic, right? Sagittarius can turn any frown upside down, I would say. But yeah, they like to learn, they like to teach, they like to think culturally, right? They like to think higher minded, higher thoughts. They're constantly educating themselves. It's also the sign of the teacher. A lot of teachers, tend to be Sagittarius, right? And they're like, what are we doing? Are we, right? So if Aries lights the match and starts the fire, and then Leo is the bonfire, Sagittarius is like the smoldering coals that you can stoke up and make it blaze, or it'll be like, oh, there's no more fire here, we're cool, we'll go out. You know what I mean? Like it's like, what do you want to do? You know, when you get Aries and a Sagittarius together,
Go
though,
with the flow.
they feed each other's fire, right? Yeah. Did we run
Wait,
out of
speaking
fire?
of air.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the next one I have is earth, not air. I was thinking that. Maybe I should switch them.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus is Venus ruled, the goddess of love, the goddess of pleasure, the goddess of I like quality things, Taurus, right? No, I don't want to change. I would like to stay here and watch my garden grow, right? Taurus. Taurus is the bull. So if you've ever tried to move a bull, were you successful? Unless that bull want to move, it's not going to move. Don't rush me, Taurus. And yes, give me nice things. Give me gourmet things. I care about smells. Virgo, the next, and so yeah, so Taurus is fixed. Venus ruled, it wants peace, but it will dig in its heels. Thank you very much. Virgo is mercurial, Mercury ruled. When you think of Mercury, the god of information, relayer of messages, right? Mercury's the one who goes from Zeus to like everybody else and tells the other gods what's popping, right? Mercury be everywhere. Mercury is extremely fast, extremely intelligent because it's getting its info all day, every day, right? Very logical. And in the sign of Virgo, so you're taking that mercurial intellect and you're making it tangible. So we're going to take that idea and now we're going to write it down so that everybody knows sort of what the deal is. And Virgo is, yeah, the healer too, right? A lot of medical professionals tend to be Virgo. Botanists tend to be Virgo, right? Virgo is, I would like to prescribe tangible, practical things, right? So that is Virgo, and it's mutable. So it's like Sagittarius, Virgo. They're like, what are we doing, guys? I could go either way, right? They're kind of nice in that way. You know, I could go anywhere. Where do you want to go? You know? But yes, Virgo. I have a lot of Virgo in my chart, so we're nerdy. Capricorn is Saturn ruled. Saturn, the austere god of principles. It's the sign of authority. It's the sign of older. It's the sign of getting older and passing away, right? Because in ancient times, it was the planet of death, endings, things like that. But Saturn, so Saturn ruled, it gives a relentless grind to the sign of Capricorn, right? Saturn wants to build and it wants structure and it wants to move slow and it wants to make things that are solid for future generations. So in the sign of Capricorn, it loves to achieve. It wants achievements, certificates, show me when I did, right? Oh, I love things that show me my success, right? And it's the mountain goat. So it wants to climb to the top. If you're not climbing, are you even alive? Says Capricorn. What is motivating you? Make a checklist,
Also,
check
like,
it off. Mm-hmm.
The goat meaning like the greatest of all time.
Yeah, right. Just ask them. But yeah, they just kind of never stop grinding. It's life to them, and without them, some of us wouldn't get anything done. So I kind of love Capricorns for this reason.
Me
right?
too. Hardcore, yeah.
Yeah. And so people who have Capricorn suns tend to be sort of mature in their mindsets and things like that. And it is cardinal, so it wants to initiate. It's quick moving earth, if you will. All right, I'm going to do the next one. Any questions so far? Taurus. Oh, fiance is a Taurus. Ooh, yeah. Awesome. Yes,
Scorpio, Taurus. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. They're natural sister signs or partner signs. It's cool. Air signs.
Scorpio.
Yeah. What were we gonna say, Mary?
I was thinking about this. When you were talking about Taurus, I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about how Taurus is minimalism and Scorpio is maximalism.
Maximalism.
Almost like can push further, go
Yeah.
deeper, right? And Taurus is minimalism, simplicity, comfort, senses, right?
So true.
Anyway, that was a side note. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Air.
So true. I love it. Thanks. Um, so the air signs. I have my little fan out, fanning myself. Air signs. Think about how air moves. Yeah, stuck in the waves. Think of how air moves. Air is quick. It's fast. It is not bogged down by water or earth, right? Things that don't move easily, right? Air is like, right? There's a quickness to it. And so Gemini, the sign of Gemini, is Mercury ruled. And again, see, now we have that Mercury going out and finding out all the information to like share. That's why they like a little bit of gossip. Geminis, shut up. You know you do. You know you love that gossip. Every Gemini I know love the gossip. Love a little bit of that drama, right? Ooh. They can be little
Live for the
tricksters.
tea.
What?
They live for the tea.
Oh yeah, do it for the tea. My Gemini rising daughter says I'm doing it for the plot. Right? Because it's the storyteller, right? And they love to like turn things on their head, right? Or put things together sometimes that don't normally go together. Like, it smelled like dust, and so it evokes sort of something in your mind that makes you feel. It's like Gemini goes, how can we use that? How does that work? What are the principles of it? Think of somebody who's very smart. I think of like a very, very smart, very, very curious child, who's like, whoa, all over the place. Also, Gemini tends to like cartoons. They tend to like Disney stuff. They tend to like, and if not those things, they like, sort of childlike stories. They love books. That's a thing too. Geminis will eat them up. Libra, the next air sign. So Libra is Venus ruled again, like Taurus. And Libra wants harmony. It wants everyone to be on the same sort of page when it comes to social things. They initiate social things as well. Brilliant at social events, social gatherings. Vera, Mary's daughter, is a Libra rising, and she can get everyone in the park to agree on what game to play, right? Like she just can do it. She's just so charming, right? There's a charm that comes with Libra. There's a persuasiveness that comes with Libra too. And it's Venus ruled, and Venus is the goddess of love. So it makes you want to say yes automatically, even if you're like, wait, I didn't think about that. Right? Like before you know it, you're all, and I'm charmed, So yeah, Libra, they rule a lot of beauty things. They usually are invested in like music videos, stuff like that. They like to watch beautiful things that look pleasant, right? Makeup. I know a lot of Libras that are into makeup stuff. But they like things that are beautiful, that make them beautiful, that make other people beautiful, dancing, right? What makes people social? Intensely charming. Indecisive though, don't make them choose where to go for eat if they have to incorporate everyone's thoughts in it. Because Libra will be like, well, what does everyone think? I need to know what everyone thinks before I add my 2 cents. Because they don't like to be impolite. You take into consideration what everyone wants. But also because Libras are so charming, they can also be super manipulative. I have a Libra 7th house. I manipulate others. You're welcome. Because it's persuasion, right? You've got to like be careful about it, And I have Pluto there, which makes me extremely charming. All right. Aquarius. Team Aquarius. What? We're the fixers of the social scene, if you will. We want to make sure, kind of like Libra, that everyone's included, right? Aquarius kind of cares about it more than Libra. Libra's like, did we get the majority? Awesome, right? Aquarius is like, oh, we didn't get everyone. We need everyone, right? Like, there's something we can do to get everyone to be involved. So Aquariuses tend to be super unique, right? A little bit eccentric, whatever, but definitely detached. So Aquarius is thinking like with the perspective of, well, if we looked at the earth from a bird's eye view, right? I have this cute little thing that I've had for forever. It's this little globe. It's the world globe. And it's kind of reflective. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got like Africa here, right? We've got Asia. So it's my little, and so sometimes as an Aquarius, it comforts me to know that the world is small. And if I was viewing things from a perspective, would I care half as much that I'm having a bad hair day? No, right? So that's what Aquarius does. Whereas other people might get a little more panicked or bogged down about it. Aquarius is like, oh, whatever. So Aquarius is also, because we have that bird's eye view, it can make us come across sometimes as friendly, but maybe a little heartless, right? Like I've definitely heard that before, you know, and I don't fault them because I'm like, yeah, I bet from that point of view, you would totally see it that way, you know, you're wrong, but it's okay. So yeah, Aquarius, and it's also Saturn and Uranus ruled, so it cares about social structure, right? Everyone's included. And it's fixed. So like all fixed signs, it takes a while for some things to dawn on us. Aquarius is probably the quickest of the fixed signs to get things, right? To be like, oh, I see your perspective, right? Because we're looking for understanding. But the other ones are a little more no. My way, highway kind of bad. But, you know, makes the world go around, right? All right, Mary, got anything to add? We got one more, water, right?
Yep.
Water signs. Think of water, right? Think of the different ways water takes shape. It could be a gas, it can be coming down from the sky, right? Perspiration, it can be it connects. Water, that is what it does, it connects. And so when you're with people who have a lot of water in their chart, there's a heavy intuition that they'll have, right? And it's not what the person said, it's what I felt they were saying, right? There's a feeling, they're feeling things, there's a sensitivity that's sort of happening with water signs. And the water signs are Cancer, ruled by the moon. That's why the mood can change quickly, right? But Cancer is the mother, right? So when you think of like a mother who wants to be like nurturing, the source of nurturing, right? There's also sort of this psychic vibe with all water signs, but Cancer is really interesting because it's almost like they have the wisdom of mothers, the wisdom of those who came before them, right? Like it's this there's a wisdom that comes with it, and then also it's the sign of the crab, so it's got like a thick skin, if you will, until it doesn't, until you expose its innards, and then it's like no. Right? But it cares about home being its sanctuary, right? Do not come into my home if you're going to mess with my vibe, right? Cancer signs. And they know what you should be doing, so listen to them because they just know what you should be doing. Scorpio, what up? So Scorpio is another water sign, and it's Mars and Pluto ruled. So in here you have an overlay of an interest in the deeper, darker things of life, the more taboo things of life, right? Scorpio also can have a lot of fear at times, right? But it's very, very clever, very, very investigative. You cannot bullshit a Scorpio easily because they gonna investigate it, right? They a private detective, honey, right? if you have a thought about Scorpio, you can totally say it, Miss Scorpio, right? But it's deep. It's also very psychic, right? There's usually a love of, yeah, all things that are spiritual, but things that make other people afraid they kind of love or are very curious about, right? Maria's got a Scorpio rising. You got anything to add?
My stuff is so choppy. I'm not catching everything. And so I'm scared to talk because I feel like it's going to be pretty choppy.
Yeah, any Scorpio vibes to add?
I feel like you covered it pretty good. Taboo for sure.
Yeah.
Maximalism in the way that it likes to push boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? It never wants to kind of be settled. It wants to keep pushing. It's ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah,
Metrics.
loyal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, very loyal, right? Yes, very true. Very loyal and has a stinger on there. So if they feel backed into a corner or like they were exposed for something that they were not ready to share, you will get a stinger. They will let you know. Right?
Yes.
Excuse me, right? But I love it though. They're sniper, they're super smart, right? Super smart. Very patient too, right? We can wait for that shot, right? Oh, that's what you say. Awesome. I love it. The last sign is Pisces. It's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune, the mermaid. So Pisces, the way I've heard it described, Pisces is the sign that I hear people trying to describe the most, and it's still sort of all over the map, right? Because there's this fog, right? Pisces is Jupiter ruled, so it does have optimism, right? There's an optimistic view of things. Pisces is the sign I would say that definitely wants to feel connected. If it doesn't feel connected, then it feels like something's wrong. And to feel like something's wrong in their bodies or in themselves is like they want to be a hero or they're the victim. And so they can feel like, you know, I want all water to feel the same. I get mad if it's not. Oh, your sun is Pisces, so sweet. But I've heard Pisces described as if you're playing a video game and you spawn in and you wake up and you know nothing about the game and it's this wide open game, that's Pisces. You're born, you're welcome. Figure it out. Right? But Pisces is very sensitive. They can tell when something is up. All water signs can, right? Pisces cares that it's addressed. I think Cancer can be a little more like, well, of course that's them, right? Suck it up, move on, right? Scorpio can also be like, well, I don't got to share my colors, right? Pisces is like, but everyone should share their colors. It should be safe, you know, like Pisces. They're so sweet. Very sensitive. I have a Pisces Venus, and so music. They usually tend to be into music, right? Things that make people feel connected together. They're like Sagittarius in that way too, right? Like, so if music is playing and it's uniting everyone or it's making everyone feel like they're a part of the same story, same tribe, they love that. Pisces also tend to like drums. My husband is a Pisces second house and he learned playing drums. He liked it. But music is important to Pisces. Animals, so they can read animals like a book, right? Animals, they're like, how could you not know what that animal is thinking and feeling? That doesn't make sense because to them it does. Don't you feel it? Can't you feel it? Right? Um, yeah, Deva, yeah. My son, he has additional needs. Yeah, music is his strongest way. He can connect verbally to people too. Yeah. Oh yeah. They can definitely, so they are able to sometimes put into words what someone's feeling, right? Because they can almost feel, it's like they can put on the feelings of the other person, you know? If they feel like they can't come through for you, a Pisces can have absolute misery, if they feel like they've let you down in some way, a Pisces can be like, oh, my heart hurts so bad because I feel like a person I loved, I let down. And then they can judge themselves, and then that judgment can, affect others for sure. But oh, Pisces is so sensitive. I love them. I have a Venus there. I innately love Pisces, I'm like, oh. All right. So now that you have a complete and total comprehensive of the signs and their elements and their modalities now, right? Everyone's like totally pro and on board now, right? We're going to talk about the planets. So the sun is our personality, our vitality, how we shine, right? The sun is our awareness. I've heard the sun described as the conductor in a symphony, right? If all the other planets are a part of the symphony, the sun is the conductor, like kind of influencing, right? Leading everything, right? The sun. And so it's a person's point of view, right? I mean, the whole chart is, but the sun will be very strong because it's the sun. The moon is the next, and that's our inner world and our emotions. It's our intuition. It's our feels. Think about the moon shining at night. It doesn't shed a whole bunch of light like the sun. It shares a little less light, right? There's a little less, and it's a little more comfortable in some ways. It allows you to still be dark, baby, but I'm here. So inner world, our emotions, our intuitions, and our feelings, that's the moon. Now, if we plop that moon into one of the signs, right? Let's say you plop the moon into a water sign, then you can know that that person is very sensitive and is very intuitive. That person's going to be heavily intuitive. I don't know how I feel, know it. I just feel, know it, okay? Right? It may not always be able to put into words. But that's the moon, our inner world, our emotions. The rising sign sets up the houses, right? The rising sign is what gives us the specific houses where those planets all live in. And then the house that the planet lives in will be what that planet or luminary, what it takes on, how it performs. So rising sign sets up the houses, and it's also kind of like the car you drive up in, right? I'm showing up, it's people's first impression, it's our ego, it's kind of our known ego, right? If you look in a mirror, that's kind of also your rising sign, right? Because it's like, boop, it's what you see, it's what's there, it's my, it's myself, my reflection, who I perceive I am and who others perceive I am immediately. That's the rising sign. If you have any questions, I don't care. I'm continuing on. Just kidding. Oh yeah, and if you have comments and you have other things that rising signs make you think about, please put them in. Be like, oh my gosh, I heard this once too. Mercury, we've talked about, relayer of messages, whop, 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 going here, going there, giving information, making things tangible, making things understandable, making things verbal. Mercury. Venus is how we love and we connect, and it's beauty and it's our sensuality. It's how we feel attractive, who we attract, right? So your Venus will be like, how do you dress to feel pretty? How do you dress to feel attractive? That's what Venus will tell us. And then the sign that she's in will be like, maybe if it's more structured look, or if it's in water, a more flowy look, or a comfy look, right? Water sign sort of Venus is. Fire signs are going to be a little more bold, a little more in your face, baby. So Venus tells us who we attract, what we are attracted to, and maybe how we dress to feel attractive. Mars, the planet of war. Mars is our physical energy, our drive, our ambition. But yeah, think of a little bit aggressive. It's fighting or effing, Mary and I like to say. Because it's desires. It's our desires. What do we desire? What do we feel motivated by, right? So somebody's Mars will tell us what they're motivated by. what they are driven by, what will frustrate them, and what will trigger them, because it's also a triggering thing, right? When you think of Mars, what I will fight for, if you trigger that Mars, or you make it feel like it's got to defend itself or go to war about something, that's a part of what that says too. But it's also like working out. Somebody's Mars can describe how they prefer to work out. It has a lot to say. And those are all personal planets. So these ones go fast, right? We're all closest to the sun. So that's, and they're personal planets. They're faster. And then the more outer planets, Jupiter is still a pretty close personal planet, but it takes a longer time. These other mammer jammers are like a month, right? The moon is like 2.5 days, right? They go fast in the transits through the sky, right? And Jupiter is the planet of Santa Claus. Oh, you get a gift and you get a gift. Jupiter is optimistic. Jupiter is also a little philandering, whatever, the more the merrier, right, Mr. Jupiter? But Jupiter is the guy, right? It's the sky father, right? The all father, the Odin, right, of the sky, the Zeus, right? Zeus, actually Jupiter, Zeus Pater, that's sky father. That's what that means in Latin, which is kind of cool. But it gives wealth. It's the signifier of children. It's the signifier of spouse, specifically a masculine spouse. It is the signifier of how easily things will come to you, right? If things don't come easily for you, sort of people who have a well-placed Jupiter are kind of always in the right place, right time. Like, so you can't even like, it's amazing how many gifts we get, you know, when we're born that we just take for granted, you know. So well-aspected Jupiter could definitely be taken for granted, you know. Jupiter, abundance. But yeah, Jupiter wants the more the merrier. Any other thoughts, Mary? No? Good.
Yeah, no, you're doing incredible. I wish I could enjoy it more. I don't know, my connection's unstable. Jeremy just told me he thinks it's because of the heat. Like the weather might be messing with our internet a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it could be.
I am enjoying it, and I'm sorry I'm not participating more. I just feel like
no worries. I just want to make sure.
It's skipping so bad on my end.
Oh, that'd be frustrating. Where's Mars at? Mars be trying something. The nodes, North Node and South Node, those are points, right? Rahu and Ketu. And they deal with destiny and the karma we're here to learn. So a North Node can tell us what we are meant to learn in this life so that we don't keep repeating the same mistakes, right? If you want to have sort of good karma, look up where your North Node is, what's the karma associated with that, and then aim to be that. Aim to be the highest, the best version of yourself that you can be. North nodes. South node is where we've been in past lives. It's where we're coming from. It's the natural gifts that we bring in, but not what we're meant to fixate on or stay stuck in. We are meant to kind of release those things. We've done those things. And now we're meant to, you know, pursue the North node, right? What are we here to heal? What are we here to solve? What are we here to nirvana about? That's the North node. Saturn, the principle of the planets. Saturn cares about longevity. Saturn cares that your retirement is ready for you when you're old, right? And if you're not doing the things that prepare for longevity, for old age, Saturn gives us guff, right? Saturn goes, oh, excuse me, I need you to be doing better, please, you know. Saturn is life's purpose. So the Saturn, the sign it's in, and the other planets that it's talking with, can talk to you about your life purpose. For example, my Saturn is in the sign of Virgo, which means that health. I have Jupiter there and Mars. So physical health and spiritual health are important to me, right? I want to prescribe mantras, methods, ways of doing things that will help you to have better mental health, physical health in your old age and in your long run, right? That's kind of things that my Saturn wants me to do. And yeah, so Saturn, it in the house can tell us like, yeah. So Saturn gives you your life purpose. A quick way to know your Saturn is if you pull up your chart, right, on AstroDeist. If you are on our YouTube, or if you've ever seen us on YouTube, we have a video that shows you how to look up your chart. How to look up your chart, Team Aquarius. Put that in. It'll pop us up. So, so that you know where your Saturn is. Then when you know where your Saturn is, you can Google it. You can be like Saturn, Virgo, 6th house. And then the internet will bring up things for you to look at. And they will tell you about your life purpose, right? So make sure you include the sign and the house that it's in. And then if there's other planets in there, they will also influence it. And we can talk about that later. But quick life purpose check. If you know where your Saturn is, you can Google it. And it's like every 7.5 years, we have Saturn returns. Everyone's heard of this, hopefully by now. The Saturn return is when you were born, Saturn, the transit keeps going. It's your natal, but Saturn keeps going, right? And then when Saturn comes back around to where you were when you were born, that is called the Saturn return. And so when anything is conjunct two things right next to each other, it's considered a hard aspect. So Saturn comes around and goes, are you doing your life purpose? If you are not, if you're not with the right person, right? A lot of marriages happen during Saturn returns, and a lot of divorces happen during Saturn returns, right? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? If the answer is yes, then you kind of have a pass go. If the answer is no, Saturn kind of does things to mess with you for your benefit, right? For your good, for your best. But I don't like it, right? Don't want to. So make sure you're living your best life. And Saturn is like, oh my God, I love it, you know? And Saturn returns happen anywhere between, depending upon the degree that your Saturn's on. Early degrees, it's more like end of 28, 29. Middle Saturns is a little more like right on 30, right? Like 29, 30. And then later degrees tend to be like 30, 31, right? Somewhere in there is the ages that the Saturn return happens. Anyway, things to note. Saturn, very important in a chart. And then the outer peeps, the other generationals, Neptune. These ones were discovered more recently. So Neptune is associated with fogginess. It's associated with glamour. It's associated with transcendence, like how we see how everyone, right? If Saturn is the planet of boundaries, black and white, yes and no, Neptune is the antithesis. Neptune is the smoking hippie who comes in and F's with your capitalistic system, right? Neptune comes in and is like, what can't you do? I'll do it and I'll still succeed. So Neptune isn't really concerned with succeeding so much as it is concerned with, hey, we're all the same, man, you know, right? Like there's a dreaminess. It blurs the lines, if you will. It blurs the boundaries. Anyway, so Neptune. But yeah, there's a glamour associated with it. Also like sort of famous actors will have a well-aspected Neptune because it adds sort of that escapism, that, you know, think of all the things we do to escape. We watch TV shows, we watch movies, we read books, we do things to escape our world. That's Neptune. And Neptune is also a planet that can indicate where we are prone to over abusing substances, right? Or under, because it wants to escape. That's what it wants to do. And so if a person feels like they have a hard life, or they feel, too constricted, or like everything's too much, then it makes them want to escape. And then that makes us want to do substances to escape. Now, I am a fan of substances, right? I am a fan of escaping. It makes us want to connect, right? We want to connect with spirit, with source, and with others, right? And so when you use Neptune and substances that are like making you feel connected or focused or whatever, right? That's a great usage. If you're somebody who's like, I don't want to deal with life at all ever, and I want to do hard drugs to not deal, that is Neptune. And that is one of the more problematic things about Neptune. So I've seen that quite a few times. I have an older brother who overly uses substances, and his Neptune is, yeah. And then Uranus, the next one, surprise, motherfucker, right? Uranus, the lightning storm, the epiphany, the flash of lightning, the I hope your building's made because I'm an earthquake, So Uranus is also associated with like high tech, right? People who are really good with technology will have a well-aspected Uranus usually, or it will be in a house of like every day, right? I know a lot of people who have Uranus. Uranus also gives like where we're independent. So Uranus is like, I don't care what you think, I'm my own person, right? It's one of the rulers of Aquarius, so eccentricity is a thing here. Being unique, being an alien, I had an epiphany. I'm sorry you didn't have the epiphany, but it blew my mind, right? Uranus. And I don't care that I'm independent of you on that subject because it was important to me. But it's kind of like it gets inspiration, it's innovation, right? We're about to have, eventually we're going to have Uranus going into the sign of Gemini, I think in like 2 years or so. And so, oh my gosh, Uranus and Gemini, that's like epiphanies in messages, epiphanies in tech, epiphanies in super high tech communication. I wonder if we'll have like telepathy, like brain chips, or something that's like, I know what you mean. Anyway, like you go to another country and you put something in your ear and it translates their language for you, like that. That's my thoughts anyway. I think that'd be cool. I'd love that. For Uranus, lightning,
like all
quick.
All those innovations around like virtual reality, right? Yeah. Imagine how far that's going to come with Uranus and Gemini. How far it's already coming, and like what could happen then.
Right. Exactly that. So it's kind of fun, but it also is like, a lightning storm can destroy trees. It can create fires. It can shake down things, right? Think of an earthquake, like it can be devastating, depending upon what it's touching. But for the most part, it's like, Uranus, you're weak. Pluto, last planet, last one out there, dwarf planet, I believe technically it is now. It's kind of cute. It's a very icy planet, and it's small, but it has this huge glass ice heart on it. It's like this. It's like, it's so fun, like a little heart. It's yeah, it looks like that. Pluto gives deep transformations. It's associated with Scorpio. So burn it down and build it back up, right? Also holding on to things, right? Sometimes we'll hold on to things and Pluto will be like, oh, you need to let this go if you're ever going to be happy again. And you're like, oh, but it can't. And Pluto's like, we can do it. We're a phoenix. Are you ready to be a phoenix? It's a god of war. It's still Marsy. It's still motivated and driven by achieving, furthering, right? So Pluto is associated with big transformations. It's associated with intensity. Think of, taking a blanket from a baby who you're trying to get them to not suck their fingers anymore, right? Like that's like you're going to take this away from them and they're going to be devastated. It's going to be intense, right? It's going to be this intense thing. It's going to be really, really hard, but it's essential for them to continue growing as adults, right? So Pluto and Saturn kind of like doing those things. They're like, all, but it's good for you. And you're all, no. But yeah, Pluto is where we're very powerful, right? Where we will maintain our stance on something until it's proven wrong completely. Pluto. But yeah, it's death and rebirth. Put those two things together, death and rebirth. A phoenix. Every time one dies, a new one is born from the ashes. But that's Pluto. So those are a breakdown of the most common things, planets and stuff that you see.
Yeah, I think because we only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Maybe we just do a quick run through of these.
Oh
right?
yeah.
House one is self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe we have a few minutes left to talk about astro coaching. Is what I'm thinking.
So the houses, which if you do our astro coaching program, BT dubs, that everyone should. We have a little form that we email to you. It's free. And then you can tell us why you're interested in astro coaching. We can tell you about yourself, how you make money. We can tell you about your communication style, right? All those things in the houses. We would describe all these things to you in there. So if you're interested in learning more about astrology, you're interested in learning more about how you were made, how you were created, how you interact with others, and why others treat you the way they treat you, for good or for not great, right? So we can tell you how to work with yourself, how to work with your chart, your gifts. The thing we find the most is people don't know how awesome they are, because for you it's just Tuesday, it's just how I was born, and we don't realize how special we actually all are, and that we really all do have strengths. So it's one of my favorite things about astrology, is to be like, this is how you're a badass, right? Like, I love it. And so the houses, we talk about the houses. The first house is the house of self. I'm born, I'm a baby, I know who I am, kind of, not really. Second house is, what are my resources? I have hands that feed me, right? I have a voice that calls for food. I have, these are my resources, fingers, toes, my body. Third house is communication. This is our communication style. We see Gemini ruled here. Fourth house is the house of home, right? In general, it'll describe the home you grew up in, the home you like to set up and that you prefer to have. And also, it's also kind of a psychic house. So it's like lineage, ancestors are also here. Fifth house is creativity, fun, pleasure. It represents children, but it's the house of, oh my gosh, I just thought of this, let's create it, right? Like, it's a very fun house, and it's how we like to flirt. Sixth house is routines. What do we prefer to do every day? Do we not prefer routines, right? So we can tell you about your day-to-day life. It's a work house. How does your environment need to be? What are your routines at work need to be or not be? It can tell us a lot. The seventh house is relationships. It's contracts with others. It's exchanges with others. It's how others perceive us, right? If the first house is us, our ego, ourself, the seventh house is how people see us. The other sees us, how we see the other. And it can describe also marriages and relationships and things like that. The eighth house is kind of a little more heavy on the marriagey, the merging, right? We've merged our assets together. We do our taxes together. We do, right? So it's a little more of that. And it can tell us why or how you prefer to merge with someone, right? Some people need a little more boundaries up in there, right? Some people need a little more independence up in there. So we can talk to you about, hey, how do you find your ideal other? Or not even ideal, but like, what are the themes to look for? It's awesome. It's wonderful. The ninth house is searching. So it's higher meaning, higher education. It's laws, it's politics. What are the things that govern us, right? It's philosophy, and it's long distance travel. So somebody who has a lot of stuff in their ninth house can indicate that maybe they're going to travel cross culturally, or be in law, or be in politics, or a teacher, a professor. There's so many things. Book publishing too. A lot of book publishers are up in there. 10th house is the house of career, of vocation, of legacy, right? Of outer appearance, right? It's the grind, what we will grind for, what we want to be known for, our legacy. It's that house kind of demonstrates what we feel relentless in. We just kind of do it all day because legacy. And then the 11th house is community and networking and friends, right? It's sort of the global community. It's hopes and dreams and wishes. It can describe our friends, the people we prefer to be in community with, in friendships with. It can describe our view of the world, and maybe we have answers for it. I have a son in the 11th house of Aquarius. I am convinced that if everyone knew and understood astrology, then we would all understand how we work together. And it would be like a beautiful clock. All the cogs just working. Yes, it's my hope, my dream, my wish, and it's idealistic. But that's what that house is. And then the last house is the 12th house, the house of Pisces, Pisces overlay. It's the house of spirituality. It's the house of where we go to be alone to find our spirituality. Yeah, it's bigger questions. Where do we go after this? What's life after death about, right? It's also the house of the institutionalized and the incarcerated, which just means that we can feel alone. If you have a lot of planets here, it can make you feel alone. And so we can help. If you take the astro coaching with us, we can help you figure out how to work with that aloneness, or to validate the aloneness, or give ideas on maybe how you touch God, you know what I mean? How you touch universe, how you touch spirit. The 12th house will tell us quite a bit about that. And anything next? And we go through, yeah.
Yeah, I figured since we're at time.
Perfect.
I was gonna try to stop sharing here. Not that anything is working for me technologically right now. It feels like a complete.
Yeah, you know what? Jupiter.
So I might leave it on the screen unless I can.
Yeah. It's all good. Leave it on the screen, baby.
What's Jupiter doing?
Is in Gemini, which definitely gives like, oh, the more the merrier, right? I think of communication. I think of a lot of it,
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad it was informative. Nice seeing you here. Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, this is teamaquarius.com. You can book readings there. Our email is there, but it's LaceyMary@gmail. So if anybody is interested in astrology coaching or more about it, maybe just send us an email or hit us up on socials. We're always on Instagram.
Yes. But astro coaching is really nice. It's a program that we have that helps you get to know you and all about you.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Oh, your interest is all good. We could send you a link. Oh yeah. I don't think that it would. Can you send us your email really quick? I'm talking to the Eventbrite. Right. So if you want to send us your email right now, we can take the email and we can send you the info. And we have worked with people from all around the world, so it's not a problem that we know of. I haven't had one yet. All right, cool. Thank you so much. If you have listened to this and you're on our socials and you're in the comments, you can either directly email us at Lacey and Mary, LAICYANDMARY @gmail.com, and we'll send you the little thing to fill out so that you can fill it out. And it's free. It's free to get this thing. It's free to answer the questions. We're just seeing if we're a good fit. That's what it is. But would love to.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. And we will see you next month, world.
Yeah. Lacey, you might have to end this because my stuff's not working.
Your stuff's not working. Mine says leave, so I'm hoping it'll work. But bye bye.